This is the Daily Humans podcast. I'm Ashley.
And I'm Nina.
You might be wondering why our screens are blank. We don't know what each other looks like for our Halloween special, and so we wanted to surprise ourselves as well as surprise you. So, here we are, trying to talk.
Shall we unveil ourselves?
We shall unveil ourselves in the count of 3, 2, wait a second there, 1, go.
Hello. Oh my gosh. You look amazing.
You think, oh my gosh, that mask looks so good.
Thank you.
If you're on audio, please, if you have a minute, jump onto YouTube and see what Nina looks like. You will love it.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
And look at you. You're like a Babylonian princess vampire. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
You're
A lot
incredible.
of jewels, a lot of riches.
I love it. You look absolutely amazing.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now I'm Elvis. The teeth
my
are going to
God.
be, as people that know, when you use vampire teeth, the hardest thing to do is to talk. And just to say, if you use scarecrow fangs, I didn't know that it takes like 20 minutes in total to actually set them on your teeth.
Oh.
So, and you can't get them wet. So the whole time you're sucking your saliva back to make sure that they don't get ruined for
Yeah.
20 minutes straight.
Yeah.
How was it putting the mask on?
It was a little bit challenging, I'm not gonna lie. I think this mask was not made for a human head because I had a little bit of a problem having the eyes around my eyes and not on my forehead. But
Wait, where was it? Like up top. It was so up top.
yeah, the sizing of the mask is bigger than my face, so I had to navigate that as I was entering into it. I felt like I was going back into the womb, but we're here now, and I can see and I can breathe and I can talk, which is nice.
Yeah, that's the main thing. We need you to breathe.
But I actually wanted to start this episode off with a voice. I decided against it, but now that we're in it, I just want to wish you a happy Halloween.
So good. And
Thank
I
you.
want to wish you as well a very happy Halloween.
Thank you.
Enjoy your spooky season.
Yes.
Yo,
Yes, Queen.
yeah, queen. I love it. I know you can't fully see it in the background, but I have a ton of spiders around my room right now. A ton. And I know you can't see it. Oh, you do as
Spider.
well? Oh my God. We have the
Yeah.
same idea.
There's a spider back there, but you can't see
So
it.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a big
Keep
one.
out.
Yeah, keep out the spiders. And I got my husband from one of my photos when I was a skeleton. He's here today. And he has to be a good boy. So he sits there and be quiet. Shut up. Just sit there and look very pretty. And also, I know you can't see it, so I'm gonna have to do this, but up top here. Can you see that?
Yes. Wow.
Can you see it?
Wow, that looks absolutely creepy.
I gotta fix my damn camera. Here we go. And I got claws on too, so This is just the joys. There we go. Here we go.
He looks stunning. But today, my friends, we are here, just as the title says, to celebrate Halloween. But not at all just Halloween. No, we're here because it is our 1 year anniversary of the Daily Humans podcast.
One, a whole freaking year. Oh my god, she's summoning the demons.
We shall raise the dead in honor of the Daily Humans podcast.
I love your love. It is so invigorating.
Do you like my strand of blood? I did it just for you.
Oh, you did that for me? I knew you were toy shark.
You know, I am 1,000 years old, so I wanted to look a little bit fresh for the vampire queen.
I thought you looked very familiar. I must have seen you 500 years ago or something.
Yes,
I don't know.
yes.
You look very familiar.
I have been serving you for a long time, queen. Bow down to you. Bow down.
I like having servants. You see, he was my servant, but he was incompetent. So I decided to, make it permanent incompetence. So now he sits there and does what I tell him to. What a true competent person. Yes?
Yes. Very well, my queen. How are you feeling on a 1 year anniversary, madam?
How am I feeling, you ask?
Yes, queen.
Oh, I cannot believe it's been a whole year. I just keep aging and this just keeps going. I did not know we had hit 1 year. I'm very excited though that we have done all these episodes and talked about such important things. Now we are here together doing a Halloween episode on the exact day that we turn a year old. I think that's pretty, what would they say? Magical. If you don't believe in magic, then what are you doing with your life? Honestly. What are you feeling, my friend? We are 1 year of being with each other every week. Do you have a little hernia?
I must say, my dear queen, I am feeling the little bits of skin left on this rotting body are tingling with excitement when I think about all this time that we have spent together. Not only have I served you, queen, but also the community, and that is why we are here. To serve the queen. Always the day for the queen.
The movies that we have created in our episodes, I think this should be a part of it.
Where shall we go? Is this love? Is this friends turn to enemies? Enemies turn to lovers? Is it a servant and queen uniting to save the nation and to ruin another? What shall we do with this power?
Oh, darling, no, we love enemy to lovers. We when we met on the pen pal side, we thought we were both scammers. So enemy to lovers, and now we are here. And I get rid of my incompetent. Well, I can't give him any more benefit of. Oh, you reach out. I can feel it. I am flying to Germany as we speak. I am flying. Do you see the bat on my husband? That will
Yes,
be me soon. I am coming to you.
I am awaiting you, Queen. I am awaiting you.
Please do. And I'll be very thirsty. So if you have a delicious human for me, I would much appreciate that, my darling.
Christoph,
Mm.
get another human in here, real quick. We must feed the queen. She needs sustenance, don't you see? Yes, it is done. It is done. Your words are my command.
It literally feels like those movies of Queen and Servant.
Oh. But
Oh
yeah,
my
no,
gosh.
in all seriousness, going back to girly pop voice, I feel truly and deeply that this podcast has saved me in so many ways and has really brought me back from kind of the brinks of the worst feelings and the worst things that have happened throughout my 2024 so far as we speak. And so I love how much I've been able to grow and to be able to experience with Ashley and learn and just come out of my shell as well. I'm still learning so much and I'm still healing so much, but that's due to the fact that I am in a space where I am valued and loved and seen. Even in this rotting body, I am loved, and it makes the ashes that remain from my dead cold heart feel something, you know. Yes.
Thank you for that girly pop.
Yes, welcome.
I hear you though. I'm with you there too. It's just continually fun and it's continually a learning experience. And I
Yes.
think that I've learned a lot more through doing this as I do for anything that comes into my life. There's always something to learn.
Yeah.
So I've learned a lot as we've moved forward. And we've also really I just love how in depth I can go with you. I
Yeah.
love that we can talk about
Yeah.
anything and
Yes.
everything, you know, and that we decided to do it through a podcast. Actually, you decided and you told me, and then I was like, hell yeah. And then we interconnected, and then here we are.
Yeah.
Bingle bangle triangle. That's a triangle.
Your fingernails or nails, whatever that is, they look spectacular.
Thank you. That's my real nails. I grew them with
Yeah,
gold. I stuck my
that's
finger
nice.
in the lake, the gold lake, and then they turned to gold.
Nice. I love everything about you. Honestly, you are stunning. You're beautiful. Look at what is the head? The head. Okay, anybody listening on audio right now, you need to absolutely switch over to YouTube because you need to see what is going on. If you're just listening, you're only getting 50% of the party, man. You need to join the party and see the beauty that is appearing in front of us.
Thank you, my friend. I'm sorry I got distracted. My spider just fell off my wall. I
Oh,
heard a sound and I thought that sounds a little sussy. Thank you, my dear friend. Oh, my heart is too small, but the smallness of that heart is full of all the love for you. Just so I feel it growing and expanding. What character's heart expands? The Grinch. That's it. I feel it expand from your love. It's getting bigger. Thank you, my darling friend. I love you from here to the moon. And we have two moons now, so to both of them, apparently. Apparently, we have two moons. So from here to the moon or to
do
the
we?
sun. What's true? All
We
of it.
have 2 moons now.
Everyone's been talking about it online, and I don't see two moons. I don't know what's going on. I need to research that actually.
Wouldn't surprise me at all, honestly.
Yeah, two moons. I would love us to have two moons, and for you to see it in the sky. I think it would
Yeah.
be exactly like a movie.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Since we are here to talk about Halloween and the 1 year anniversary, I thought it would be good to talk about the history of Halloween. And if you did not know, Halloween comes from ancient Celtic festival of Samhain, celebrated on November 1st. The Celts, they believed that on Samhain the boundary between the living and the dead became blurred, and spirits of the deceased returned to the world of the living. And here we are today on the podcast celebrating a year. Yes, you heard it right. We are spirits from the undead, and we have come to seek vengeance on the injustices of society.
Mm, I like the way you explained that. That was lovely.
Yes.
I feel on fire hearing you speak. I feel fiery.
Oh, yes.
Mm.
Actually, it's funny because I read a little bit about the history of Halloween before we jumped on, and it said that it only changed to the 31st of October
Mm.
due to some involvements with, like, I do believe it was like a pope. I forgot the name though, and he made he added to the Halloween tradition of costumes and parties and things like that by also honoring saints. So Halloween came before, which means Halloween became October 31st and then honoring the saints November 1st, if that makes any sense at all. But today,
Mm. No, it does.
as, as we have so very
I
well
didn't know that.
teased over the last few days, yeah,
Mm. I don't think I've ever looked up, or maybe I have, but I've forgotten what and
yeah,
where Halloween originated from. And I found it fascinating that it's gotten to the point where you dress up and you get candy at a door.
yeah,
And I thought, I
yeah.
wonder how this all originated. And I just haven't really looked it up. It's
It's
fascinating.
Celtic. It is. I never assumed that it would
Yeah.
be a Celtic tradition, but yes,
It's a
it's very
fun,
interesting.
good tradition.
Yeah, it
Fun
is.
tradition.
But yeah, today we wanted to come on and celebrate, talk about some spooky stuff as we've teased before, share our stories with the supernatural, and
Mm,
also so just have
mm,
fun. You know, I want to have fun.
yeah.
We don't have enough fun in this world, so we're gonna get down on it, get down on it, get down.
Mm,
We're
mm,
gonna dance. We're gonna have fun, and I have a little special game for you, Ashley.
mm.
Do you want to play a
Oh,
game?
yes, I do.
That'll be towards probably a little bit towards the end, but yeah, it's gonna be fun. So join us or die.
I'm probably gonna have to take this off my freaking head soon. It's like squeezing my head, squeezing my brain.
Yeah, you can
My
take it off.
gosh.
It's okay.
I'm seeing if I can last a bit longer. I don't know.
Is it really
Oh,
tight?
it is tight.
Oh, okay. You kind of remind me of the May Queen in Midsommar. I don't know if you saw that movie.
No, I haven't actually.
It's, I would say, it's an interesting movie. It's very cultish and it's interesting. But at the end, a woman gets dressed up in like a flower I would say it's like a gown, but she looks like a mountain, just flowers everywhere, and she has like a flower crown, and you kind of
Ooh,
remind me of her. Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah, you look gorgeous.
I
You
didn't get
should be
any. Hmm.
you should be in a movie.
Thank you. I am. Our movie.
Yes.
Our movie. Our special movie. Oh. You know, all of the special effects that I've been sharing on our page, and even this look, I didn't get it from anywhere particular. I like to really create whatever I feel.
Hmm.
I like to just go by that, really.
That's
It's your
awesome.
creative side. It's fun. It's
Yeah.
so fun to create something new, new-ish. You know, vampire's
Right.
not new, but you can kind of make anything and everything a vampire. Truly.
Yeah.
You can have a grandpa vampire, grandma vampire. Even Nina's mask could be a vampire. The teeth
Sure.
could be a vampire. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that you use your creativity and come up with new concepts and new things because it is so needed and you look glorious. Just I would I love this. Like you should literally make a portfolio of all your like Halloween looks because it's incredible.
Yeah. I was going to once upon a time when I
Hmm.
was thinking about what I would do with all of this, if I was going to take it to a professional kind of career.
Hmm.
I was going to go to school for it for special
Yeah.
effects. And I actually went to an open day at an academy to see what it was like and to see how I felt about it. And you work on movies and stuff like that. And I thought, okay, yeah. Then I did the open day, and I thought, I don't see myself doing this long term. I could think only a hobby, you know,
Hmm.
or doing a few clients here and there. So
Yeah.
that's what it ended up being, just something for fun, you know, not something
Hmm.
serious, you know, and I couldn't see it as a career, but it is fun. It's fun to be everything and anything possible, you know.
Yeah.
I make myself into a container next.
Yeah.
I don't know how I do it, but I'd find a way. Why
Yeah.
not?
You definitely would.
I want to ask you though, what did you do with the mask? I know you said that you were tweaking it and twerking it. What did you end up doing?
You cannot see, my dear. I've splattered blood
Oh my gosh.
everywhere. It's red. Actually, like in all seriousness, it was very white before. I don't know if it appears on
Yeah.
camera as it does in person, but it was super, super white, and I wanted to make it a little bit less new looking. I wanted to for it to look a little bit more worn. So I started with eyeshadow, brown eyeshadow, just making it quote unquote dirtier looking. And I
Yeah.
splattered blood and purple and all types of things across it. I don't know if the camera picks it up, but I'll definitely post some photos online after this. But it looks better now than it did before. I thought about making all of the hair red, but then I'm like, that wouldn't be realistic if you just killed somebody and then like all of your hair wouldn't be red unless you're Carrie, in which case it makes sense. But but yeah, so I have a little bit of red. I have very red on my fingers due to all of this, but it's fine. I'm good. I'm happy actually. I'm loving that this worked out.
You look so good.
Thank
Even the
you.
background looks so sick. It looks like
Thank
you're
you.
in like a, it doesn't look like you're in your room. It's so, like, it looks like you're in, I don't know, a studio or something.
Oh, nice. I might
You've
keep
done
this
such a
on
good
for the
job.
rest of the year. You know, Christmas rolls around, I'm still here.
Why not? Why not?
Yeah,
As much as I want to keep this on, I cannot.
it's okay.
Squeezing my brain. And it's taking my hair with it. Oh, jeez. Unfortunately, some things are made not to cater for a human being.
Yeah, but you still look good.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes.
So, what are you all dressing up as? All of you that are watching and listening, what did you actually? Because I know some people can't do Halloween on Halloween. Like even here, Halloween falls on I think a Wednesday or a Thursday, if I'm
Hmm.
correct. I think I am. So if you already had your Halloween parties yesterday, Saturday, we'd love to know what you dressed up as.
Yeah.
We'd really love to know. I've seen I watch I watch how's it name? Southern ASMR sounds. And if you don't know her channel and you love ASMR, she is one to watch. She stocks shelves and she organizes shelves. More organized, I should say. And she did an ASMR in a costume shop in America. And I was watching it because I was so intrigued. Like I was in their costume shops, and the stuff that I saw, I was like, oh, I could so do that. Oh, I would do that.
Yeah.
You know, all the inflatables that they have, just like every character you see in the movies.
Hmm.
I personally haven't seen that. We have costume shops here, but they're not as full, if
Yeah.
that makes sense. There's not a lot of options per se. So you mainly have to go online. Yeah. Or you just make it out of ordinary clothing. You do
Yeah.
what you got. You do with what you have.
Yes.
That's the right way to say it.
Yeah. It's definitely so much more fun, I think, when you're able to go to a store and have options. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah.
had the issue as well with getting Halloween decorations and stuff and there just not being a lot of options. And I'm like, why? This is so
Mm.
much fun. Like, literally, I live for Halloween. I look for Halloween decorations. It's so much fun to buy them and to see what's out there, even if you're not going to get them yourself. But it's fun to be creative and to be different and to try some different things
Mm.
throughout the year instead of having the same old, I think. So it's a little bit
Mm.
disappointing. And I do miss America in that respect, where they just have so, even Christmas, so many options. But
Yeah.
yeah, it is what it is. We are
Mm.
in our humble era, and that's fine. And we do
Yeah.
with, as Ashley has said, with what we have, and we have done a great job.
Exactly. You do
Yes.
with what you have. And you can create so much with what you have too.
Yeah.
Like you truly can. Let your imagination run wild because a vampire, like I said, I was trying to speak with this thing, sound like this the whole time. A vampire can be anything, literally. Just mix and match. There's no right or wrong way to do Halloween. I did a skeleton nun for one Halloween. And you don't like a skeleton nun, it's not what you hear
Mhm.
about, but who cares? It was fun, it was creative, and I did it. I did Wonder Woman with Superman in the middle, like as in like how Superman goes to rip off his shirt and then there's the S. Except
Yeah.
for that, I did Wonder Woman and then the S in the middle, and then I'm like pulling my skin apart where and like I'm explaining it so badly. I'm trying. I'm trying. I was Wonder Woman, okay? And then I did the special effects like skin, and then in the middle was the S. So it looked like I was ripping my skin to reveal the S. Like in Superman, he takes off his shirt and he pulls it to reveal the
Yeah.
S. Does that make sense? Am
Yes.
I making sense?
Absolutely. I
I'm
wanted to ask
trying.
you, I wanted
Yeah.
to ask you, Ash, what has been your favorite costume or look throughout the years for Halloween?
Ooh. Oh. Oh, that's hard. Probably the Conjuring nun, the nun in the Conjuring. She was hard to do. She was terrifying, but it was fun. It was fun. Hold on.
That's awesome.
What about you?
Yeah.
What's been your favorite costume for Halloween?
I honestly, I haven't dressed up much growing up, but my favorite costume, I think, because I still think about it to this day,
Hmm.
was I was invited. I think this was back when I was in seventh grade or something in middle school in the US. I was invited to my very first Halloween party, and so I was like, yeah, I'm gonna totally be the creepiest person at the place, at the location. And it was my best friend who was throwing it, well, my best friend at the time, and I was super excited. So I went to the store with my mom at the time, and I looked at different outfits, and I came up with like a zombie doctor, and it
Mm.
was gruesome. It was gross. It was grosser than this. And but it was perfect. It was beautiful. I was like, yes, this is it. This is the one I need and want. It's funny though, because nobody told me that usually in middle slash high school, when you have a Halloween party, all the girls
Yeah.
dress up as super pretty as something quote unquote scary, but not like a full on gross look. So I had the essential Mean Girls moment where you show up
Oh,
in costume and every pretty girl is there looking like, oh, I'm an angel. And just like really pretty. And this is not like, obviously, it's not like a bad thing, but I just wasn't prepared. And my crush at the
yeah.
time was at the party. So I was like, I literally, they opened the door. They literally opened the door and they were like, oh, hi. So it was literally the Mean Girls moment. There was, it was like
Oh
spot on,
my God.
but it was my
Literally,
favorite look.
but so unnecessary.
It's fine. I
Halloween
embodied
is not just
Halloween.
pretty. Yeah. Halloween is not just pretty. Halloween is
Mhm.
everything and anything.
Yes.
Truly. I want to be an inflatable dinosaur, but I don't think that would fit on the camera, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, would you, when the time comes, would you host Halloween parties? Would you be that person?
Mm, I probably would never host a party because I'm not the partying type anymore. I think I would love to hang out with friends. We can dress up and hang out, like do like a home thing. But like a party, I probably wouldn't. No.
Would you still come to my party?
Of course. Absolutely.
It's not a party without Nina. I'd be like, everyone go home. Nina's not coming. Go home. I can't do it.
Yeah, no, I will always come to an Ashley party.
Thank you. I can't tell whether you're laughing or not when you're with the
Yes.
mask on because you're like
I am. I'm
laughing.
smiling.
Oh my gosh. I'm the person that loves to host parties. So
Mhm.
yeah, definitely Halloween parties when that moment comes. Oh yes, I will be taking that and running with it.
Yeah.
The things I would do to that house. And you can make stuff too. You can make stuff
Yeah.
out of wood. You can make stuff out of material. Like you don't have to spend a ton on decorations. You can create with your creative minds that every single one of us has. My S's are more out there now. So weird.
Yeah. I love that though. And another question I wanted to ask you,
Mhm.
since you love to dress up, and I mean, I don't know, I don't know how this question is gonna go, but I'm actually more curious because I don't know. You said before to me that you don't like to look in the mirror when you've done like your most creepy looks because it was too scary. And
Mhm.
as far as I know, you can correct me if I'm wrong, you're not the horror movie type. So my
Mm.
question is, are there any scary or creepy or themed Halloween type movies that you like to watch during the season? Do you have any favorites? Is there anything
Mm.
of the sort?
Yeah, definitely. I've actually been watching Haunted Mansion for a couple of times now in the last 2 weeks, I'd say.
Yeah.
But both versions, may I just say, because I actually do like both versions. So them I've been watching. Um, It as well. I do like it, even though that clown, that fudging clown, I love it. And contrary to my personal experience with this one, Scream. I do watch Scream, which is
Wow. Okay.
yeah, I do
The
like
new
Scream.
ones or the older
Huh?
ones?
The old, like all of them.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
actually really surprised you can watch it because that is one of the movies I can't watch. For me, that's way too gruesome.
yeah.
Yeah, it just the scene where the girl was in the bathroom and I think it was her hair that was being pulled down the drain. I can't remember it correctly, but that scene has scarred me for life.
I personally like number two more
Hmm.
than number one. So I
Okay.
mostly watch number two.
Yeah. I would
Yeah,
actually
but
agree.
yeah, they're older
The
and
yeah,
it's a lot more action as well as the fact that number one is a lot more gruesome, I think, than number
yeah,
two in a way. It
yeah,
still eats people, and the start of number two is, oh, like sometimes I do skip it, the start of it,
yeah.
when he's at the fair. But other than that, I actually love it. I love the ending part when they win. That was a glorious moment. Like I sat there
Mhm.
going, "You tell him." If I was there, I'd say a few things too. I'd be saying more than clown. I wanted to feel that victory.
Yeah. The second one
Yeah,
is better. I agree.
yeah. What other
Absolutely.
movies do you watch?
It's interesting because I have been raised since I was a kid by horror movies. Literally, I've watched them for the longest time. And when I was
Mm.
a teen, I used to kind of, that was my experimentation era, I would say, with movies in general, but especially horror, because I was like, let me see how bad it can get and let me go deep and see how much I can take. And then I went too far and I was scarred for life yet again. Like truly, I was actually scarred, and I never watched a horror movie for like the last, I would say, from 17 to 22. I didn't watch any movies, horror movies whatsoever, because I couldn't do it anymore. And now I'm kind of at the point where, as long as it's not too gruesome, I can watch it. I used
Yeah.
to watch movies like Saw and Hostel and just very violent, Human Centipede, just very,
Oh
very
my.
violent. Yeah, it actually gets worse than the Human Centipede. There's a Spanish movie, I don't know its name, but that one truly traumatized me. So I was just like, I'm kind of in this space now where I don't want to watch anything that's going to affect me at such a large scale. So
Oh
I'm
yeah.
from the past where I used to see Halloween or just spooky season as horror, terrifying, scary. I'm now more leaning into movies that are fun and exciting, but
Mm.
still creepy. So, in
Yeah.
terms of movies that I like to watch now, I really, really love The Strangers, which it is a little bit gruesome. It's definitely more so on the violent type, but it isn't extreme. It isn't insane. It isn't life
Yeah.
scarring or life changing. And Friday the 13th. I would say maybe more so of the campy horror, or
Mm,
just in general more like autumn cozy, like the Gilmore Girls, or
mm,
I don't know what other movies are there. I have no idea. I guess more creepy rather than horrifying, violent, scary.
yeah,
Yeah, more campy
yeah,
movies like Escape
yeah.
Room, or
Ooh, I love them.
Halloween, things like that that aren't too
Mm,
serious, in my opinion.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I love Escape Room.
yeah,
Both of them,
yeah,
one and two, is really good.
yeah.
There was something else I was gonna mention as well. You know, movies like I've spoken about it before. I can't watch possessive.
Hmm.
I did the same thing last time as well. I can't watch movies where there's possession. I will not watch
Hmm.
Paranormal Activity or anything
Oh
like
yeah.
that. I will never watch them because I do believe in spirits and just from personal experience with some stuff, no. But movies like, have you heard of Changeling? Changeling with
I
Angelina Jolie?
have. I have. I haven't seen it though.
That movie, that movie made me feel a certain way when I first time I watched it. I'm like, no, I'm never watching it again. I'm
Okay.
never watching it again. It's just there's some see a movie can have the same storyline as another one, right?
Hmm.
But one particular one will just have a certain feeling about it compared to the other.
Mm.
And I mean, Changeling and the storyline of Changeling, it's happened before with kidnapping and you know some heinous
Yeah.
crap that's happened to children. But this movie in particular, like the sinisterness of it, oh, I could never watch it again. Like I could not
Mm.
watch it again. And the fact that she doesn't get any justice, oh, that's even
Mm.
worse for me. I'm like, I just want
Yeah.
to fight. I'll bite.
Yeah.
Not fight, I'll bite now. Yeah.
It's true though. I've definitely watched movies where there's just it's not really the storyline, it's just the energy to the movie that makes it creepy. I
Yes.
can't think of one in
Yeah.
particular, but I've definitely watched things before. Oh yeah. Everybody's gonna laugh. If you've seen the movie, you're gonna laugh. There's an old movie. I think it's 2009 to the circa 2012, called The Fourth Kind, and it's about aliens, essentially, woman's experience with aliens. That movie, I think I watched it twice. I to this day cannot watch it again because it freaked me out so bad. And it's not that
Yeah.
anything in particular scary happens in it. You have abductions and things like that, the typical alien storyline, but it is so creepy. It is actually insane. And
Mm.
I genuinely, after watching it the first time, I couldn't sleep. I was constantly like, don't abduct me, aliens, because aliens are like my biggest fear, honestly.
Yeah.
As much as we joke about them on the podcast, they're my biggest fear. But yeah, the fourth kind, I ended up, I think, 10 years after the fact, I had a friend come to me and be like, you know, that movie isn't based on a true story, actually. It was all faked. And I'm like, wait, what? The news reports, all of it. And it's like, yeah, the studios crafted fake news storylines, posted it on the internet, made random facts and appeared it as real. And once the movie was done, they scraped it off the internet. And now you can't find anything. And it's like, that's actually kind of creepy because I always thought over the last few years that
Mm.
this movie was real, based on real events that happened to a real person. In the meantime, it was all fake. So I'm just like, this is just,
Mm.
but it's one of the movies to this day. I cannot watch it. I cannot watch it. It's too much. Yeah.
I don't blame you. I'm wondering with Human Centipede if the energy for that was similar because I haven't watched it, but I cannot. I've
Mhm.
heard enough about it. I don't want to. I don't want to watch it.
I will say this. I watched the first three. I think there's a fourth one, which I think is overkill. but the second one was the worst. If I remember correctly, the second one was in all black and white and was taking place in like a mall, I don't know, like a mall shopping like basement or a garage or something. I underground like parking area. I can't remember where it was taking place, but
Yeah.
the storyline was surrounding a security guard. And I think the first one is really just shock effect and it's gross. But the
Mm.
second one, it's interesting because you know what's going to happen, but you don't see anything from my recollection, but it just hits differently. It is so
Yeah.
in its own way because you see less and the way it was shot. And I think maybe because it's in black and white as well, there's an element to that movie that is so creepy that the first one doesn't touch. The third one, I can't remember all too well, but I don't think that that was very good. But I think in general, like looking back on it now, when I used to watch Saw, I think for one of my birthdays years ago, my mom and I went together, and I was like, "Mom, I don't think you want to go come watch this movie with me. This is not your type of
Mm.
movie." And she's like, in the middle of watching, she's like, "Oh my god, who thinks of this stuff? Like who creates this in their head?" And after all these
Yeah.
years of kind of like taking a step back from these types of horror, like more extreme, more severe horror, I kind of have to agree. You know, it's like you can enjoy creepy, you can enjoy getting jump scared and things like that, but to what extent is too much? You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like the human centipede, um, Saw, Hostel, I feel like that taps into a really weird aspect within our human brain. And I think it's more creepy that people have come up with that and made it into storylines in terms of how to torture people and like created devices and then put them into like I just the psychology of the horror of extreme horror
Mm.
is what concerns me. But it's not something I can consume anymore. It's too much. It affects me too deeply.
Mm. On another fun note, nothing, in my opinion, nothing beats Ghostbusters on Halloween as well.
Mm,
In my opinion, the old version. I don't mind the newer versions, but the old version, absolute hit.
yeah,
Wham wham.
I love
Something
Ghostbusters.
strange in the neighborhood.
Neighborhood.
Who you gonna call? Ghostbuster.
Ghostbusters.
I'm afraid of no ghost.
Oh,
You're afraid of no
speaking of
vampire.
speaking of ghosts, Ash. Um,
Huh?
speaking of ghosts,
Yes.
Ash, would you like to? Have you ever in this crazy life had supernatural experiences that you're willing to share with all of us today?
Oh, well, yes, I sure have. And whatever you believe, just know out there, people, is yeah, you believe what you want to believe. But some of you may know that Nina's grandfather came to my room once, and I cannot see him. I could only hear him. Literally, all I heard was, "This is Nina's grandfather," and that was it. It's like, hi. I was half asleep. In my head, I'm like, what are you doing in the corner? Because it came from this side of my room. So that was one experience. Um, Another experience, interesting enough, I don't see anything. I just smell or hear. When my nan passed away, she used to use this lavender powder that we sell here in Australia, and it's like in a pastel purple color. And I remember it like yesterday. And that smell, randomly walking down the hallway at 2 in the morning, I think it was, my hallway, and I just smelt it. And I thought I just knew straight away. because I don't use that powder. No one else in my family uses that powder. So it's experiences like that personally. Just hearing things, like I'll hear my name being called out, and it's always while you're partially sleeping. It's always in those moments. I'll hear my name, or, a family member will drop by. They just want to chill at 3 in the morning. Pop up a table, get your plates out, bring your food. Do you drink coffee or tea? Let's soiree. Yeah. So nothing, I don't have all these fabulous stories apart from that to share, but it's still an experience I'm very grateful that I've had. I used to be terrified of the unknown in a way. So experiencing this more and more, I'm not as afraid. Like hearing Nina's grandfather, I would not be able to go back to sleep. I'd be terrified. I'd be sitting up in my bed, scrolling through my phone, trying to distract myself from what I just heard. But the moment he finished letting me know, I went back to sleep. That was it. It's gotten caught in my thing. There we go. The moment that he did it, I went back to sleep and that was it. So that was pretty cool. I'm very grateful to be okay when those moments come. It's very cool. It is very cool. I've had some not so great experiences, but the thing is, they're only things that I've talked about with Nina because when I first started spirituality, these things were quite frequent, and I know it was a release, but it was a whole different experience. But anyway, those are my small experiences so far. What about you? Masker.
Well, I would say that, and I don't know if I've shared this story before on the podcast. I believe I have, but I will reiterate for this episode's sake. Yes, you are welcome. And
Thank you. Thank you for telling us.
when I was young, I would say circa 6-years old, I went to a little family vacation in Greece, went to the beach, got washed out because I was like, let me see how far I can go. Let me test the boundaries. And then got carried out into the sea, nearly died, nearly drowned. And after that, I would say is when I started having really interesting experiences, and with the paranormal or with extraordinary sensory things, situations, phenomena, whatever you want to call it. The earliest memory that I have of this happening was in my grandmother's house. I would say that my grandmother, my grandpa and grandma were married for a very long time. My grandfather passed away from a heart attack, so my grandmother, continued living alone for a very long time. But I would say towards her 80s. I'm not quite sure how old she was at that point, but she was already in her 80s. She started talking about seeing chandeliers move in her house, but they weren't physically moving. She would say that there were heads poking out from the ground across the street because she had a patio facing the woods and it was on a cliff. And she would say she can see heads sticking out of the ground. And, my mom at the time, she was very concerned because she was like, these things don't exist. Maybe it's her age related psychology issues. My mom went with it in a very analytical, I think, for the most part, I don't want to say normal, but like the typical pathway of what you would think when you hear these things, right?
And
But
logic.
me, yeah, but for me, growing up around my grandmother, she and I were very close. We had a very strong spiritual, emotional connection, and I could it'd be really weird because I could see what she saw in the moment where she was explaining it to me, but I wasn't in the moment when it happened, when she had this experience, but it would be like a flashback of a memory. So, on to the story. There would be many nights that I would spend at my grandmother's house whilst my mom was away working or doing other things, and I was spending time there. And the hallway during the nighttime was kind of the scariest aspect in the home. It was
Mm.
really dark and it had just really weird energy. I can't really describe it. However, every time I was over there, I never wanted to be awake too late. Um, because my grandmother, she was in her 80s. She went to bed very early, and I didn't want to go to bed at like 9 or 8 p.m. However old I was at the time. I just wanted to stay awake and watch movies or TV, animal channels, and whatnot, but I couldn't stay awake. I couldn't stay awake due to the fact that every time she would go to bed, obviously the lights would be turned off and it would just be me in the living room, the hallway right next to the living room, and this blackness that was just in there. And I couldn't describe it. I didn't know the feeling. I just knew that it was always there for a certain amount of time after having that incident in Greece. I could feel it. Anyway, as I was sitting there one night, I kind of have to explain the layout a little bit for the listeners and the watchers. So the living room, I would say, was on the right. Then you have the hallway in the middle and the bedroom on the left. So in order to get to the bedroom, you have to cross the hallway and go straight ahead into the bedroom from the living room. I hope that makes sense.
Mm.
I'm not very, very good at detailing and describing things. But once the lights were off and my grandmother was either in the bathroom getting ready to go to bed or she was already in bed, I would have to like race across the hallway and into the bedroom because I could not stand being in the hallway too long because it had this very dark feeling to it and it was scary. And obviously I was a kid at the time. I didn't really have any words to describe this feeling with, but it was just very unnerving. I would have the back of my hair, at the back of my neck, the hair standing up. I would have like cold chills. I would have like these really weird panicky feelings on the inside, and I could never describe it or explain it. And when I told my mom about it, she would be like, "Oh, you're watching too many movies." And I'm like, "Mom, I'm at my grandma's house. I'm not watching any scary movies. I'm watching Animal Planet. Like, I'm watching documentaries. I'm watching educational stuff." But one night I was laying in bed. I got myself ready for bed and I ran across from the bathroom to the bedroom, across the hallway. I lay down and my grandmother used to say a few things to me, but we shared a bed. And my grandmother used to say a few things before I headed to sleep. And every time, right before she turned off the light, I would just have this panicky feeling for reason unknown to me at the time. And it's funny because people are going to think this is crazy, but this is real. I had like a large panther as a stuffed animal in the bedroom with me. I don't know why it was there, but it was there. And I could swear to you, Ashley, one of these nights that I was staying over at my grandma's place, it looked at me. Like it wasn't just a stuffed animal anymore. It had like sparkles in its eyes. And I was like looking at the painter and I'm like, there's something wrong with it. I think there's something in it. I think it's alive. And obviously you can't
Mm.
say that to anybody because as a kid, you're like, who's gonna believe that? What adult is gonna believe that your stuffed animal is alive?
Yeah.
So I had that feeling like there was something looking back at me from whatever this is. And in this particular night, I was laying in bed and I was looking up at the ceiling at the time. And I was just like, you have to go to sleep. You have to go to sleep. You have to go to sleep really quickly because something bad is going to happen if you don't fall asleep. And I was sitting there, I was laying there, not sitting, I was laying there and I was just looking at the ceiling, waiting for myself to fall asleep. talking to myself so I could fall asleep. And then I don't know, something happened. I can't really describe it, but I ended up laying there and I was really quiet for a moment in my head. And I just had this voice appear, a male voice. It wasn't my voice because I questioned myself for a moment when I heard it, but it was like, do you believe in ghosts? That's what the voice said. And I was like, um, I was a little bit freaked out at the thought because I was like, why am I thinking this? But it isn't me. It isn't even in my voice. It's like in this really deep man voice. And I answered the thought in my head or the voice in my head with my own thoughts. And I was like, well, as far as I know, ghosts are the things, the towels that you, or the sheets that you put over your head and you cut out the holes in the mouth, and that's what a ghost is. And this voice replied with, tonight you're going to see one. And I was like, no.
Did I give you
No,
that?
thank you. Oh, essentially, it was like you're going to experience something that's not this illusion that you have of what ghosts are. I think it said something along the lines of you have no idea what they are, but you're going to find out in that way. And I was just like, I need to go to sleep. I need to go to sleep. I need to go to sleep. I'm literally just saying that over and over, and I'm closing my eyes and I'm wanting to go to sleep. And then all of a sudden, there was, if I can give you guys the description so you're with me in the story. The bed is facing a closet, and on the corner left side is the entryway to the room. There's the door. And I'm just looking over to the door now. I'm laying in bed. My grandmother is asleep. The lights are down. You hear no noises. And I'm just laying there. And I'm looking at the corner of my eye at the door, the entryway. And I just had my attention at this spot. And I couldn't tell you what it was because I was looking to see something, but I couldn't see anything. But there was something there. And I couldn't describe it, but there was something there. And it was scary to me. Obviously, I was a kid. I'm laying there and I'm looking at the corner and I'm trying to see if I see like a shadow or an outline of a person, but I'm not seeing anything. And I'm, again, trying to remove my attention from this space, but I can't. It's literally just like there is something there. And I'm trying to close my eyes. I'm like, go to sleep, go to sleep. Something bad is going to happen if you don't go to sleep. And then I'm trying to think of, because obviously I went to school at the time in Germany, and I think this was around the time where the conversation of religion was coming up in schools, or I possibly was at that school that I mentioned in a previous episode, the Catholic school, because I was starting to think of like my guardian angels. And I was laying there and I was like, I hope, I'm like talking, I'm trying to reach out mentally to my guardian angel. And I'm just like, whoever's out there looking over me, watching over me, I need your protection now because something bad is going to happen. I'm scared and I'm afraid. I don't know what to do. And I'm not falling asleep. And I'm just essentially in panic mode. And my grandmother, like I said, she is asleep. So I can't even wake her. I don't want to wake her because she's older. And I'm like, I don't even think she knows what it is that I'm experiencing right now. I'm not even sure of what this is. The long story short, I ended up laying some more, still not being able to fall asleep. And all of a sudden, I felt this, I can only describe it as like death cold, just this freezing cold at the bottom of the foot of the bed. And it was overpowering. I was underneath blankets. My grandmother had a heated blanket on the bed, and I was freezing cold. My feet felt like they were just in ice, in like the Siberian, well, Siberian desert, is that cold or is it hot? I don't know. Anyway, I felt like I was in Siberia, in the cold, in the snow, in negative 50 degrees, and it just felt like death. That is the only thing that I can describe it as. It's the type of cold that you feel in death. And I open my eyes again after trying so hard to force myself to sleep, and I see something there. And I can't see it with my eyes in the way that I see Ashley, but I see it in my head. And it's like there's an overlay, like a movie overlay. I can see what's in front of me, and then I see what I now know is the third eye.
Yeah.
This person standing there. And I believe it was female, but I'm not 100% sure now after all these years. And I remember it looking at me. And as I was making eye contact with it, I was thinking, it knows that I see it. And so I'm like, oh, crap. And I'm like, I think it also can hear my thoughts. And I'm like, shit. Okay, pretend that you don't see it. So I'm like looking over to the side now, trying to pretend that I didn't see it. So it thinks that I don't see it, but I know that it knows that I did. And I'm like rolling over to the side now. I'm trying to just go to sleep. And there's a window here that I'm facing now to the right. I'm rolling over to the right. I'm laying down, trying to go to sleep. And I'm like, I'm not seeing anything. I'm just going to go to sleep. I don't see anything. And then I see it round the corner of the bed and walking up towards where I'm laying on the side. I'm laying on the right side of the bed. So it's walking up to the right side, right next to me. And I'm like, I'm literally facing this thing, but I'm not looking at it. I'm looking at the wall. I'm ignoring it. I'm pretending I can't see it. And then I'm like, I can't continue to face this way with this thing standing in front of me. So I'm like slowly, and I'm saying this as if it's easy to move, but my body was stiff and it was so hard to move. I was completely frozen. So it takes like all of like roll over to my back and then roll over to my left side. So I'm not facing this ghost anymore. And I've told you the story before, Ash, but I feel the covers lift and I feel the coldness in my back. And it's just laying beside me now. And I'm laying there and I'm like, this is not real. This is not real. Again, I have no idea what I'm experiencing at the time because I had never heard about hauntings. I never heard about poltergeists, whatever. This came, I think, like 10 years later. But in the moment, I'm laying there and I am scared to death. And it is so cold in my back. And the next thing I know is I'm waking up in the morning. So I do believe I actually ended up passing out due to the fear. But the entire night, I was literally fighting for my life to not, I don't know, like get attacked. I have no idea what that was, but it did feel malicious. And my grandmother at the time was always like, she sees people walking back and forth from her patio to her bedroom. And the window that's in the bedroom is facing the patio. And again, facing the woods on the opposite side. And there was a church up there, way up in the woods, that you could see the lights of. And I always kind of had this feeling that whatever was happening because of this location. They were doing something there, or there was something going on there that I wasn't aware of. But I feel like this is the reason why this paranormal experience is happening. I wake up in the morning, I run out of the bedroom, I'm checking, I'm touching my shoulders, my legs. My legs are completely back to normal. They're not freezing, they're not cold. And every night that I've been there, in the time that I still lived in Germany and my grandmother was still alive, in this particular home, these events happened over and over and over again. They never stopped. And I think it was when I was around 12 or 13 that I found out by quote unquote coincidence, after letting my TV run a bit, I had watched a show and it was over and I had gotten some food. So I was walking back into the room and all of a sudden I'm hearing from the TV, chills at the back of the neck, feeling stiff, coldness in the air, things you can see but aren't really there, like all these experiences. And they're like, this is I don't know, it was like the intro for a TV show, but essentially it was about them hunting for ghosts. And I stopped in my tracks. I turned towards the TV and I'm like, so this is what it was that I was experiencing all these years growing up. Um, and that was the first time I ever heard of like ghosts being like a really real thing and having had paranormal experiences. I've had many since then. I will say that. When I nearly died, I had really weird. It's funny because I nearly die a lot in my life. I had like three near death experiences, which I also think probably has something to do with that. That something during the first event of me nearly dying opened me up to the spiritual side of things, the supernatural side of things, the paranormal side of things. But alas, I've experienced many different experiences. I've seen the Grim Reaper many times, um, which I do believe is a real entity. Maybe not in the way that we believe it to be, but I definitely think there are beings that help us pass on to the next level. And
Yeah.
I've definitely met those, and it's been a wild ride. And it's been
Mm.
very scary. It's not like, oh my God, I have like a ghost friend. Or I can just, tap into it. Like, no, usually it happens involuntarily. And I'm at the point now in my life where like I know these things are real for me. I don't need anybody else to believe in them. But I definitely also am still a skeptic in some ways because I'm like, okay, what else could it be before I go to this? Oh, it's paranormal, it's a ghost. What else could it be? But I know for a fact that these things are real. I know for a fact that I've had my own incidences, even with clairaudience, like hearing voices and things like that. And it's an
Mm.
interesting aspect to life, and it definitely, like I said, lets me know that there's more than just the physical reality in which we
Yeah.
occupy currently.
When she told me that story, it shivers down my spine because if there's one thing that I do not tolerate, especially believing in spirits, it's non-consensual being in your space, touching you. I nope. If we have boundaries with general, in general life with human beings, then there should be boundaries within the spirit world as well. I just think that it's such an invasion of space, and it didn't need to happen, honestly. I know that not every spirit, I just think I don't fully know because the stories that I hear when your spirit departs from when your soul departs from your body, they talk about how it goes through the stages of going through your life as like a show, like showing you parts of what you've done in your life and who you were and etc etc. And then you sort of move from there. And I think to myself, well, do the malicious behaviors that people display here, do they keep that when they pass on? So just like you, like I'm a critical thinker in the fact that I will ask questions. I won't just believe straight away. I will ask questions unless it fully resonates. There's only a small amount of things that I fully believe in, but there's so many different narratives on what passing on into the spirit world is. But then it doesn't fully explain why you had the experience that you had. And, it kind of does with the experiences that I have and clear audience as well, because they can speak, they can send you messages through voice as well as through smell, as well as show you butterflies or bats or whatever that symbolizes to them or symbolizes to a sign that you've asked for. But it doesn't explain to me why something can be in your room in a full figure, potentially, and be able to touch you. Because I've been touched before as well by something. I didn't see it though, but I felt it. And it's like the coldness on my arm. One time I didn't feel it was malicious, and I'm pretty sure it was a family member. I just felt like I felt something on my arm, holding my arm while I was laying in my bed. That was okay. But for other things that Nina knows about that I'm not personally going to go into, I do wonder why that is allowed. Not even allowed, but I wonder why that's a reality.
Yeah.
If spirits are the way that some depiction of them says that they are. It's, I don't know. I think it wasn't, I just don't like that whole touching thing, the non-consensual thing. We talk about that in the human world. Do they talk about that in the spirit world? Are they sitting down and having meetings about this stuff? Because they need to. Someone needs to get HR involved.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah.
The popo up there. Something needs
Yeah.
to be involved. You can have
It's
the awareness that you have clear audience. Like you can be told that in a
yeah.
different way. It doesn't need to be in that way.
Right.
Putting fear in you over something that is not meant to be fearful. So it just leaves me with a lot of questions. It really
Yeah.
does. But that's terrifying. Your
It's
child felt.
over the years, it's been interesting kind of looking back on that moment because obviously, I've watched ghost shows and paranormal investigator shows and things like that. And a lot of people are like, well, if it were real, it would be on camera. But it's like, if you've been in a real situation where you've experienced something paranormal, you would know that it would take a lot of energy for something to appear on camera. It's one thing for them to appear in front of you, it's another thing to appear in front of a camera. It's another thing to appear, just visually in your head. And this is the hardest part of it that I never really see anybody talk about. It's just when you have that experience, or at least for me, and you see them, people think it's just like a visual manifestation, like a shadow or something. And while that is, I'm sure there are many people who've had that experience where they have a physical thing to look at. For me, it was almost more of like a negative from what was already there. So if the room was dark, it would be darker than dark, it would be blacker than black, the entity.
Mm,
Or if I saw something, which was only back then, I don't see anything now anymore, unfortunately. But it would be, like I said, like an overlay, like a film overlay. You would have your eyes that can see as you and I see right now, and then you would have what's actually going on here, where most people would call it the third eye. And I think it's easy to say that things aren't real when you haven't experienced them. I also think,
yeah.
the skepticism is good to a certain degree, but these things are real. There's more to life, there's more to the spiritual world, and trying to decipher looking back what that entity was, what their intention was. Back then, I was a kid and I had no idea. So, of course, I would interpret it as a fear. Maybe it didn't even want to hurt me, but I saw it as threatening because I've never experienced something like that my entire life. So,
Mm,
it's really weird looking back on it because I'm like, I know that there were more than one soul in this house or on this property. And I at the time thought that maybe it had something to do with the war. Maybe there were people buried there somewhere. I don't know, but it was just my grandmother. I have to say this: her house was haunted, and she had poltergeist activity. So that was something that was there. It was present. It was there until the end of her life, and I even think, due to some stories that I've heard from my family, that even I don't even know how to say this, but like my grandfather had a stroke in the house, but it was a really weird circumstance in which it happened. So from the stories that I've heard, I'm somehow led to believe that possibly supernatural influence could have also partaken in him having a stroke that day and passing away, which
mm,
is very interesting. But it was just, I would love to go back one day personally to these houses, but I can't be like, knock, knock, knock. Hey, this person that's living there. My grandma used to live here like 20 years ago. Do you mind if I just walk around and check it out and see if there's any ghosts? Oh, but yeah, it's very interesting, the experience in and of itself. And in terms of like the Grim Reaper, I think that one is probably for me personally the most interesting one because I was never one to believe in a Grim Reaper. I thought that that was more so of like a pop culture ideology of death. But I've definitely, there is, I can't say it's evil. I don't think the quote unquote what we label as a Grim Reaper is evil, but there is a dark presence that is there when you're about to pass away or when, I don't know, that's just there. It moves with you through life. And I think it pops up and it occurs in moments when either you're being warned or something bad is going to happen, essentially. So I've had a lot of dreams with the Grim Reaper. I've had a lot of incidences in real life close to death where I then experienced this dark shadow creature being, whatever you want to call it, being present when I've nearly passed away. And it's always been very interesting. But I wish honestly I could like go into my mind, make a movie and show it to everybody because it's so hard to describe it if you haven't been in the moment or if you haven't had experiences like this prior, you know what I mean? But it's very real.
Believe or don't believe, that's up to you.
Yes.
Bygones be bygones. Yeah.
Yes.
You wanted to play a game, right?
Yes, I do. I want to ask you if you're in the mood for playing Would You Rather Halloween Edition.
Okay.
Yeah? Are you into it?
I am. I really
Okay.
am.
All right. Then I'm going to ask you a couple questions. They're going to be
I just want to
fun.
bring my buddy over.
Yeah.
Come in, hubby. Hello.
Okay. First question, Ash. Would you rather spend the night in a haunted house or a graveyard?
Graveyard.
Oh, really?
100%. Yeah.
Why?
Because at least a graveyard, there's a minority. There are some
Mm,
that have good intentions and there are others that do not. But if you are in a haunted house, you are stuck with whatever's there. Whatever is there,
yeah.
that's what you get. A cemetery, you never know.
Right. Yeah. You could.
Man,
Yeah, you could run across some good spirits. That's true.
exactly.
Hmm. Interesting. I think both are terrible. I wouldn't want to be. I will say this. It's really funny because I obviously and my grandmother and grandfather are buried in a graveyard in my hometown, and I love going there because it's so peaceful. But like imagining myself at night in a graveyard, ooh, I don't know. But I think I would also prefer it over a haunted house.
Mm,
Yeah, it's open and you can run away quicker. So
exactly.
yeah, yeah,
If you've watched The Haunted Mansion, the newish one, they can't escape that house. They're stuck in that house. So what if that were to happen? What if
right.
a spirit traps you in the house? So at least at a
Yeah,
cemetery, you have free will.
yeah.
More of that.
Okay. Well then
Yeah.
this question is perfect for you. Would you rather have bats for hair or spiders for hands?
Bats, 100%. They are my babies.
Yeah.
Please tell me you said bats and not something else. Bats and
Yeah,
spiders, right?
bats. Yeah.
First, I thought you said like bats of hair, like as in like batches of hair on
No,
your hands. It'll be like that. Well, I'll take the hair because laser exists, but yes, I'll take my babies.
I agree. Like spiders freak me out. And I think it would be nice to have like fluttering hair, just like,
Mhm.
you know? Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay. Mm, would you rather be stuck in a scary maze or a creepy cornfield?
Amaze.
Really?
Yes. Yes. She's so shocked by my answers. She's like, how could you pick that
Yeah.
one?
I mean, all of us are different. It's fine.
Yeah, just because I feel like I can't actually. Um, no, no. I'm thinking. This is what I'm thinking. A maze. If you can climb up to the top, if you can, then yeah, 100%. Because I can climb up to the top and seek out my what I need. Right
Mhm.
in a cornfield, you can't do that. Obviously, you kind of just have to run, and you got to trust where you're going.
Right,
So I
yeah.
guess that's the only pro and con I can make out for right now. So um,
That's
yes,
true. That's true. You're
in a
smart.
cornfield too. Yeah, I'm trying to be very logical with this because in a cornfield, I feel like you would easily be caught in a cornfield, but in a
Yeah,
maze, you can be hidden.
that's true.
Yeah. What do you think?
Um, it's hard because I had a bad incident with a maze before growing up as well,
Yeah.
where I got stuck and I was like the last one of my school. My school had like a field trip and we went to this maze for like autumn and whatnot. And I couldn't get out. I kept getting lost, and all of my schoolmates were already out, and I was literally screaming. I was like, please help me. And eventually,
Oh,
a kid came back in and helped me get out, but I was traumatized for life. Oh,
yeah.
to this day, I don't like mazes and I don't ever want to go back into one. But you're right when it comes to like a cornfield. If I place myself in the middle of a cornfield, you can run forever and not get out. But a maze does have an end
Exactly.
and a beginning.
Mm-hmm.
This is hard.
I
I'll say scary maze. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. I have a question for your past, was this primary school, elementary school, do you call it?
Elementary. Yeah. Primary.
Do they not have a buddy system where you have someone that you go with?
No.
Because we
No.
uh, you give them a buddy to go into a maze, especially
No.
children. I wouldn't let just one child unless one child wanted to, essentially, maybe. A buddy
Yeah.
system. I'm gonna fly back in time and give you a buddy.
Thank you. It was really scary
You're
because the
welcome.
maze was huge. It was huge.
Huge. Yeah. And you're a child.
Yeah.
You were a child. You're doing freaking terrifying. Even as an adult, I'd cry. If I got to the point where it's like, I'm not getting out of here,
Yeah.
I would lose my shit. I would. I really would. The
Okay.
fear of
Then,
the
yeah,
fear
go
of
ahead. Sorry.
never escaping, like never leaving a space that you don't want to be in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels like
I feel
those
that when I'm in the shopping
dreams.
aisle looking at the prices.
Right. Oh, yeah, that
Huh?
actually does relate, doesn't
Fella.
it?
Yeah. It's like a maze there now, trying to find the on specials apparently. Trying to find the cheaper products. They hide them down below, or you gotta go up top. You gotta climb Mount Everest to get the cheap bread up top.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta crawl down to the depths of the muddy pits to get cheaper bread. If you want cheap milk, well, guess what? You're gonna have to milk the cow. You're gonna have to milk the cow. You don't want a cow? Oh, you have to milk the goat. Where does almond milk come from? Milk the almonds. Yes, we'll be here milking almonds together. By the time we finish milking those almonds, it will be Christmas.
Yeah. Oh man. But one of the other ones that's here that I thought was really funny, actually. Would you
Mhm.
rather have to wear an itchy Halloween costume all night or get stuck with face paint that won't come off?
Oh, I have worn a costume before that was really uncomfortable. And I mean, this one that I'm wearing now, it's not fully uncomfortable, but it's semi because I'm being
Mhm.
stabbed in the fingers a little bit. Um, so I'd take the costume, like
Okay.
the itchy costume.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Respect.
Also, just to say too, I've actually had face paint that stained. I've actually put
Oh.
special effects on, and I think twice it stained. So
Oh.
no,
How did
not a
you
good thing.
navigate taking that off? How long did it take?
I think a week.
Oh,
It had to fade.
props to you.
It faded over time.
Props to you.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yes.
I love that though. I love that you
I
have
look
these
like
stories.
what was I again? Oh, there was also one time the fake blood stained my skin. So I was walking around with like red patches on my chest and then a little bit on my face. Like I just went through a battle with the bruises or something like that. Or someone just like a insect just came up and pow 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 like on my chest and my face. So
Yeah.
that was great. Oh, that's right. I had black face paint as well. And
Hmm.
I had to do no. Yeah, I did Venom. Spider-Man and Venom.
Mm. Hmm.
So Spider-Man red, Venom black, obviously,
Yeah.
and the black face paint. Oh my jeez. I turned grey, basically. And it stayed like that for a while. I looked like a zombie. I could have done two looks in one. And the red as well. I looked exactly as I look when I get burnt in the sun. Just a
Oh
bright
man.
tomato, chop me up and put me on your salad. Beat don't know her because I am her. That's what I look like. Glorious times.
Yeah.
What
Okay.
about you,
Then
friendo?
um I don't know. I don't think I can do itchy. I think I would rather do face paint that won't come off, to be honest, because
Mm,
while it can be weird, like just I'm imagining painting myself blue or something for like Avatar. I'm like having an Avatar costume,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm just walking around with blue skin and whatnot. I think that that can be funny, but like an itchy Halloween costume all night, I think that would just make me furious. It would make me mad. It would make me project because I'm uncomfortable, and I don't want to put myself through that. So I'd rather just be blue or any other color for that matter.
Mm. Tell me, can you tell people I am the way of water? That is why I am blue.
Yes.
You could really just maneuver that to your best of your ability. Why not? If you're a
True.
Simpson and the yellow is permanently stained, tell them that you're turmeric. I want
Yeah.
it to be a spice and
Yes.
experience that. So I am turmeric. Like, there's so many things you can do with your creativity. You might as well.
Right.
You are
100%
green.
agree.
Let's say you're green. And you just say, I wanted to experience what it was like to be Shrek. So I did a 24-hour day of Shrek.
Mm,
Yeah.
nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
You wanted to have empathy and, you know, experience life like Shrek did. to get a bit of a what's the word? Awareness on his living circumstances.
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay, well then I will close off with this final question, and it's a cute one. Would you rather have a pet ghost or a pet zombie?
Oh, did you say pet ghost or a pet zombie?
Yeah.
A pet ghost. Definitely not a pet zombie. Casper, the friendly ghost. Hey, hey, do
Yeah.
it.
Did you hear that?
100% a pet ghost. Huh?
Did you hear that?
What was it?
I don't know. I just heard a loud crash. Did you see anything move?
No, no.
I just heard like a massive loud crash.
Not gonna lie, I'm really looking forward to doing the Christmas episode because the Halloween one, I feel like it's triggering things.
That was really creepy. Oh my gosh. Okay.
I didn't
Well,
do anything. But if you
okay.
heard it, ask your mum later on. Say, did you do something? She might have done
Yeah.
something. Hopefully.
Yeah. Weird. Okay.
Yeah, but I'm pet ghost all the way.
Okay. Cool. I think I would agree.
What could a
Yeah.
zombie do for you? What could a zombie do for himself or herself or themselves?
Right. And then I would imagine
Like,
that they would be
I
very
need a drink of,
smelly.
yeah, I need a drink of water. Oh, no. Do you want a drink of water? Oh, all right, that's great. Thank you. This movie is
Yeah.
such a good movie. Thank you for that information. I'm glad he liked the movie. Yeah, no, I'm convincing you that to no to zombie.
I think I would rather have a pet werewolf, but I'll pick a ghost. I'll pick a ghost.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the zombies are officially out of the category. They have
Yeah.
been thrown into the non-pick section.
Yes, I agree. Oh,
Just
yes.
imagine literally walking around with a harness. You got your zombie behind you. I don't know what you heard about me. Did you see this zombie? See the motherfucker boot.
Yes. Perfection.
You know what time it is?
What time?
Do you know what time it is?
What time is it, Ashley?
It is the time of ending, the time of the full moon, the time of spooky season closing to an end to welcome Christmas.
Time
That is the vibe.
to say goodbye. Yes, it is. It is time for us to wish you good night and adieu. But don't you worry, friends. We shall visit you in your dreams tonight and haunt you
I'll come into
forever.
your dreams. Yes. I'll be in your dreams, and you know how you'll hear me? You'll start hearing fruit salads. Yummy, yummy. Fruit salads. Yummy, yummy. Or give some hot potato by the Wiggles. Hot potato, hot potato. Hot potato. I just can't appear in your dream and be mean like that and just go,
Yeah.
you need to wash your feet.
Yes, but Ashley, I just wanted to say it to you
Yeah.
and to everybody out there listening as well. Thank you so much for a year of joining me on this podcast, doing it
Mm.
together, talking, sharing, growing, experiencing, laughing, crying, raging, all the emotions, all the evolutions. Thank you so much to our listeners, our watchers for joining us. It's been a great year. we're looking forward to many, many more. And yeah, until next Halloween, my friends, we shall go back to the grave and into the underground and wait until the time comes again to haunt you.
Yeah. I want to say as well, and I put this on because oh,
Yes, Queen. Yes.
my darling, my
Speak.
darling. Listen well and listen carefully now. You are welcome for every episode that we have, and we thank you for being here from the start. We are glorious and grateful and honored, and we look forward to celebrating 300 years of this podcast. Oh, so do me a favor and join us for the next one. And do not be afraid if Nina pops up into your dreams. It comes with beautiful sorrow. So thank you. And thank you, my dearest, dearest friend. My gratitude for you is endless. This 1 year with you has been divine, pure divine. So
Yes.
thank you. And auf Wiedersehen. Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye. Hocus
I'll
pocus
see
is a
you
good
in your
word.
dreams.
Goodbye.